Okay, no drawing today. I'm going to go back to bed. I'm going to eat chocolate until I fall asleep. Excuse me, 1 minute. I've got a message.
Hi, Kieran. We were wondering if you could please do this challenge for us. Can you please draw my favourite animal, a red panda, and my favourite animal, a seahorse? Excited to see the results. Bye.
Wow. I better change my hat. I better put my drawing hat on and get on with it. A red panda, a seahorse. Wow, I'm a busy man. Let's draw. Well, hello and welcome back. I have my drawing hat on and I am ready to start my request all the way from up north. As you heard those two little girls saying, they want a red panda and they want a seahorse. So today we're going to be drawing a red panda and a seahorse. Now, you might have had a little bit of difficulty understanding their accent because they're from all the way up north. They're not Japanese or anything like that. They've got the car on road, that kind of talking. So they're quite funny to listen to. They're absolutely adorable. They're called Isabel and Florence. And Isabel is about that big, and Florence is about that big. And they're the most lovely, sweet little creatures you've ever met in your life. I met them quite a while back now. I met them in Brighton, and they were the kindest, sweetest little people you've ever met. Their talk so sweet and so kind and lovely. Isabel is quite the kind of serious one. She's quite kind of the intelligent one. And Florence is just nutty. So we're going to get in there and we're going to do some drawing. A red panda, right? Red panda is a very, very special creature. In fact, I don't even think it's related to the panda, but I might be wrong. But what it gives me the chance is to look at that gorgeous jar of ink. Look at it. It's like it's the most gorgeous pot of ink you could ever imagine. And I'm going to start off with a big splash of that. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to splash it all the way around. Because it's got kind of like a big red head on it. In fact, I think actually with a panda, I think there is this kind of argument between all the scientists whether a panda is actually from the bear family or it's from the cat family. Did you know that? Well, there you go. And a red panda's kind of got this lovely kind of like red streak coming down its face like that. Just under his eyes. So I'm trying to get in there and do a nice kind of furry texture around there. But I got to do 2 drawings today, so I'm going to be busy. No time for sleeping today. Well, I'll do some more sleeping tomorrow. Now, their mum is called Louise, and she is lovely. I met Louise when she was about that big. And now she's got kids of her own. So it's really lovely to see when people grow up and they have their own kids and what they're going to be like. And I'll tell you a funny story of when I met them in Brighton. They were so cute, you couldn't believe. Now, when you meet people's kids, you know, you're always kind of like a little bit like, oh God, what are they gonna be like, you know? But they were just so sweet. I was like, is this real? Are they winding me up? They're so polite and so nice and so cute, so sweet, so adorable. All right, black ink. Let's get on with some black ink. And so we went off to do something on the pier. We went to do some of those kind of rides and stuff like that. And we had done the kind of penny arcade. And I was with Florence walking around, and Isabel was with her mum. And she was determined to win this prize. Determined. She's putting her coins in, And it got to a point where she had put almost all her money in, and she hadn't really won anything. And she was like, "Oh, it's so close. It's so close." And I think I might, I can't remember fully. I might have suggested like, "Oh, it just needs a good push and it will all fall off." And of course, being the nutty little Florence, she was like, boom, onto this machine and everything fell off and the toy. And she was absolutely delighted. It was such a fun thing. And that was it. Very, very quickly we had to escape from the establishment. But it was such a lovely day. And the really sweet thing was when it was time to go and I had to go home, and Florence gave me the little toy as a gift. It was so sweet. But we always, Southern people and Northern people always have this kind of joke with each other about we can't understand what they're talking about. But I think with their accent as well, it makes it such a cute little way of talking. They're absolutely adorable, both of them. Right, and that's kind of like his face. Now, red panda's actually got white ears. He's got big white stripes down his face, and he's got big triangle white ears. So like I said, I'm going to try and squeeze in the 2 drawings today. When I was in China, I actually went to the, I think it was in Qingdao. We went to this big panda sanctuary. It was incredible. We went to this place where we saw hundreds of pandas. Literally hundreds of pandas. And I had never seen so many pandas in my life, for sure. And they kind of breed the pandas there. And there's not many places around the world where they can actually breed pandas. They're very difficult to breed. And they had so many of them. And apparently this is where a lot of the pandas around the world come from. And an interesting fact about pandas is that if you have a panda in England or you have a panda in America or something like that, the panda still belongs to China. Yeah, I remember reading about that a long time ago, that all the pandas come with a contract that if there's ever a time that they want the pandas back, then the pandas have to come back, even if they're born in that country. They still are under a birth contract to belong to China. Please correct me if that is untrue, but that is what I remember. Just give them some nice big paws. In fact, the red panda has black legs. Again, all these little facts that you learn when you're drawing animals. You need to kind of learn a little bit about them as you draw them. Right, I might have to use a brush for this part. Where's my little whirly, knurly, snarly, beaten up little brush? Look at that little brush. Look at that one. Isn't it fabulous? And it's my favorite brush. Although I have broken this brush and I have super glued it back together so many times. I don't know why, but this brush always seems to do the best. I got hundreds of brushes in my house and this one is still my favorite. There you go, some nice black legs. And I'm going to kind of water it down as it gets to the end. I'm going to kind of bring in some water about here with a little bit of the red in the ink, and I'm going to bring it down until it kind of bleeds into that. And that looks absolutely lovely. And I'm going to try and do another hand on the other side, because I have to get his tail in there at some point. So I'm going to do this. Now, funnily enough, I remember what his face looks like. I remember what his arms look like, but I don't remember what his I don't remember what his body looks like. Is his body white, or is his body red? Or I should really be asking Isabel this, shouldn't I? Because she is the red panda expert, apparently. How cool is that? And there he is waving. I'll give him some big pads underneath his paw. I'm trying to draw this very, very quickly so I can get 2 drawings in. Right. Going to get his big feet coming in there. And we have to get a tail as well. Now, I remember. Come on, Isabel, you should be telling me all the details here about what I don't know. I think the tail of a red panda is actually red and white, even though his arms and legs are black. So I'm going to get back into my red ink. My gorgeous red ink. I remember I was talking about Brighton there, where I met Isabel and Florence. I actually bought this ink in Brighton on one of my trips down to Brighton. And they've kind of got like a kind of a stripy red tail. That's quite cool. So that is, I'm going to have to make the feet and the hand black to kind of blend it in with what is going on. Let's wash that brush out. But that is the basics of the red panda. And as a special treat, I will send these to you. I will send these both to you. So you can stick them on your wall. And you can say, oh, look, this is what my friend Kieran drew. Let's colour all those toes in, so it makes it look quite cute. Now, if I move any more with this while everything's so wet, then I'm going to cause problems. So I'm going to finish this hand, and then I will put it on the side until it dries, and then I will finish it off. But at the end of the video, I will put the 2 final pictures so you can see. And there will be a speed version also if it's too slow for you. You can go on and watch the speed version where I draw the whole thing in like 30 seconds. It's quite incredible. Makes me look quite good. Right, so where's my trusty brush? Trusty brush. It's all beaten up and let's try and get in there and do some. I have to kind of hold my breath as I draw each shape. It's like 1, 2, 3. Done it. And there is an absolutely gorgeous red panda. Now, Isabel, you're gonna have to tell me what you think. You're gonna have to tell me if it's gorgeous or not, because you're the red panda expert. Does it look like a red panda? Are you happy? And then in a minute, I'm going to jump across and start drawing some seahorse for Florence, who is a nutty little character. She is so adorable. It's always nice when you got two kids, because two kids are always so different. You know, like with my two kids. You know, my boy is quite serious and quite intense about lots of things, and my daughter is complete nutcase. She will probably be the president of America or something one day, you know. She's so confident, and I don't know where she gets all that confidence from. And they are both amazing, but for completely different reasons. Right, so I'm going to leave that on the side to dry. But that is the basics of the red panda. And I hope already you can start to see some gorgeous stuff there with the red panda. But it's all too wet. If I start touching this, it'll all bleed into that. So I'm going to stick it on the side. And I'm going to get on with the seahorse. Right, I've got to put that somewhere I'll just put it over there and hopefully it will be steady. Right. Drawing number 2. Right, let's put a pause on there. Right, drawing number 2 is a beautiful seahorse. Now, this one I'll have to add the colors later on. I'm thinking a quite nice blue would be very nice. In fact, am I brave enough to go straight in and do some color first and then add the drawing on top? Well, I think so. I think so. What about if we were to go in and just go blue? We're going straight in with the color here, which I don't usually do. I'm not usually that confident, but in this one, I feel like we can do it. I feel like we can, because the shape of a seahorse is really quite elegant. It's a very beautiful kind of big swirl. And he's got a little kind of pot belly. To get some more of that water, so we can kind of get a nice splash of color in there. And it goes up. It goes into a lovely big swirl at the top there. Now, seahorses are really quite incredible. This drawing is for Florence. And she wants a seahorse. And seahorses are absolutely gorgeous to see in real life. If you've ever seen a seahorse in real life, they're really, really, really incredible. I've been to a kind of a safari place, not safari, like a kind of like an aquarium in China where they have lots of like seahorses and things like that. And they're beautiful, absolutely incredible. And they're tiny. A lot of people don't realize how tiny they are. But seahorses are remarkably small. And there you can start to see some of the colors of the seahorse coming through already. Trying to get a nice kind of speckled type of kind of feeling to it so you can see that. And apparently, again, Florence, you're going to have to check me on this. You're going to have to tell me if it's true or not. But if I remember, the dad seahorse is the one who carries all the babies. Yeah. That's what I remember. In my second brain is telling me that the dad is basically the one that carries and takes care of all the babies. I think the mum's out, you know, shopping or something. I don't know what the mum seahorse does, but so we're going to get in there and we're going to draw. Right, come up. That's a really lovely shape, isn't it? Right, and where's my drawing pen gone? And we're going to draw a beautiful. Oh, it's a wobbly pen. Don't want that one. So, Isabel and Florence, tell me, why do you love the animal that you love? What is it about them? What is it about a seahorse that you love? What is it about a red panda that you love? I would really love to know. Now, as I said, that these are quite wet at the moment, so I'm going to have to finish the drawing up slightly off camera, but it will give you an idea of how the drawing is being put together. This blue actually seems to dry quicker than any other color for some very bizarre reason. It's like red takes ages to dry and yellow takes even longer than red to dry, but blue seems to dry very quickly. For all you technical people out there, I would love to know why that is. Or is it just my second brain is gone mad? But I do find it. The blue is much quicker at drying. Let's test it out. Very sweet. That's a lovely shape, isn't it? What do you think? See, this is what I've been talking about with drawing. The drawing is a lot of it is about finding that shape, you know. It really is about, you know, what is the shape in your mind of a seahorse, and when you're drawing a seahorse is to instantly go for that shape, and it will help you a lot. The same if you're drawing a red panda. There he is. And it will give you a great confidence when you're drawing, that if you can start to get the idea of the seahorse or the red panda or whatever you're drawing, if you can start to get that that kind of feeling of what they look like from the shape, then I think a lot of the drawing will be much easier to actually do. If you're drawing a cat, think before you draw. Think, what is the shape of a cat? What shape comes to mind? Even to the point that it might not be the real shape. You know, you might say a cat looks triangle because, you know, when it's sitting down, it kind of looks like that shape. Oh, and it might help you to draw. Simplifying things down sometimes is the best way to start to draw. For example, like with the seahorse, all I could remember is it's like a big S shape. And that's kind of like what I've tried to do here with this. Very cute. Very, 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 very cute. And these two little girls live up north, and so I very rarely see them, but every time they send me a message, they are just so lovely. They're so cute. As you heard, as you heard from their message. Their message was very, very cute. Sometimes, because of their accent, I do have to listen to it a couple of times to kind of catch, what did she say? What was that? And I do remember that when they came down from up north. We went on to the pier to have some fun, and they actually had coins with them. And I haven't seen coins in so long because kind of most payments now are kind of done with your phone and stuff like that for convenience. And I haven't actually seen coins in such a long time that when they kind of pulled out 10 pences and 2 pences and stuff like that, it was very lovely, very, very special. Me in my modern world, eh? Right, well, that's the basics of the seahorse. Now, there's going to be a few things that I'm going to do. I'm obviously going to put a little bit of a background color on there. And I am going to put a little fin. I'm going to paint that on separate because I think I want it to be a color that's going to stand out. So that will be a kind of white kind of triangle that will be about there. And I want to put some bubbles in as we are going to be underwater. There we are. Lots of lovely bubbles from him breathing. Or her. So that is today's drawing, and I will update you at the end. I will finish them off, and I will show you the finished pieces at the end of the video, which is simply because they are all too wet. But already today you've got 2 drawings for the 2 lovely little ladies. They are Isabel and Florence, and I hope you enjoyed watching the beginning part of this drawing. And I will show you them all finished. Okay? Thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We do lots of drawings every day, and it's always a bit of fun. So, have a beautiful day, and I hope you enjoyed these. Wait for the update at the end of this. Love you all. 1 for Isabel, 1 for Florence. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for waiting. Here is the final result. We have 1 red panda over there, and we have 1 seahorse over there. So that is the final result for today's drawing. I hope you like them. I hope you think they're gorgeous. which one do you prefer, the red panda or the seahorse? Which is your favorite? Thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon.